Welcome back, Attack. I'm Skylar Shore, and today we're going to be talking about Darkscape. This is the new update for Runescape, and it seems that the Jagex team is really wanting to push Runescape in a new direction, and a lot of people are really not comfortable with that. They like the classic, they like the nostalgia. However, guys, I'm thinking that Darkscape is actually that true direction that Runescape should have been moving in originally. So what Darkscape does is it is a separate entity from Runescape, okay? So it is a totally separate instance. It's just like Runescape, except for two things. One, all the content is free. That's right, all the quests, all the areas, everything is free. Number two is that Darkscape is full PvP, okay? Like everywhere, full PvP. Now there are some slight restrictions, like in certain areas a level 200 can't kill a level 1, right? But as you go out away from major cities, that becomes a little bit loosened, it becomes a little bit laxer, and then there are more dangerous areas. However, it's still a full PvP world, incredibly hardcore. Now, another addition that I think is really cool, but it's not quite relevant right now, is that yes, Darkscape is a separate instance, but how separate? Actually, it's basically its own game. It's going to have its own updates and own mechanics later on down the road that's going to be added into the game. So if you are really enjoying Darkscape, it's not just some little gimmick that's going to be temporary. They are going to build up on this idea, this concept, and keep it going. Darkscape is truly its own individual game. So it's probably going to focus more on PvP-oriented items, or there might be some objectives that are PvE, but built with PvP in mind, where the original RuneScape wasn't. You know, there's a lot of just PvE content in RuneScape, okay? So, with that in mind, there's also some PvE content that has been cut from the game, like Dungeoneering isn't in the game, for instance, okay? But, so yeah, Darkscape is its own entirely new entity, and it does change a couple of things, okay? So, for instance, I just did my first impressions of the game. I just went into it, played for 20 minutes. I found that there is no tutorial, so this is definitely going to be for players who are coming back. If you are new to RuneScape or you haven't played in a long time, I suggest you go play the original RuneScape or RuneScape 3, whatever. Go play the tutorial, okay, so you can kind of get a handle on things, and then go into Darkscape, okay? That way, you're not just going to be walking around not knowing what to do for hours. But it is pretty interesting, though, that the whole game is free and you have basically a pure sandbox experience from the get-go. Yeah, there is no tutorial, there's nothing holding you back from getting started. In saying that, though, if you are a member, you do have an accelerated experience, as in you literally gain more experience, you get better loot faster, and that's what the membership does. So you're not getting any sort of true, huge, like, competitive benefit. Everybody should be on an even playing field other than how they progress through the game. But so yeah, let's just talk about my raw opinions. They actually changed away the combat. They took away the RuneScape's 3's combat, the added combat, which kind of made it similar, I guess, in ways to World of Warcraft. It's actually going to use the legacy combat system, which, you know, nostalgic players are going to be comfortable with. And I have no idea what else they're going to be changing or updating or evolving with the game. So I don't know. I have no idea where the game is going, but I do know where it is right now. And it seems like they kind of took a step back. They listened to the community, what happened with RuneScape 3, and they know that they need to kind of go backwards a little bit before they can start taking steps forward, and that seems to be the case. So if you are somebody who used to play RuneScape and want to have a reason to get back into it, now that the game is full PvP is definitely a good reason. I found that a lot of people, because of the clunkiness of RuneScape, you know, because you have to click to do everything, it's quite possible to accidentally click on players and attack them, or be attacked yourself, which is awkward. It definitely can suck. So you need to be really careful about that, okay? But I found that in major cities, you're pretty safe. You're pretty safe because of the super leveled guards. It's not often you see like a guild or a team trying to take on a guard. Even so, the guards are really high level, and then there's multiple guards with multiple different kinds of weapons. And you have less and less guards as you move away from the major cities. So like inside the castle walls, basically nobody's going to be able to touch you unless they are like a coordinated guild, and maybe they'll get one kill. It's really not worth it. Yeah, so if you ever played RuneScape full PvP servers before, it's just like a clusterfuck. It's not fun at all. Darkscape, totally not that. It's definitely calculated in such a way to where new players and people who have just died and are respawning are going to have an okay experience. It's essentially safe. Of course, you're still going to have those random people that try to insta-gib somebody at level 1. It's just not going to happen, okay? So don't worry about that. You're not going to be getting shanked right out of spawn. You're just not. However, you know, as you go away from major cities and to these different resource pots, into like the wilderness especially, yeah, it's going to get pretty dangerous, okay? And so for that, I think it kind of brought back some charm from RuneScape. However, you know, talking about some of the updates and everything with the engine, the graphics, it's still RuneScape, right? Of course, it looks a little bit better, it plays a little bit better, but it's still RuneScape. It's not some totally new entity. It's not on a totally new engine. It's still gonna chug. Even if you have like an enthusiast build machine like myself, you're still gonna have some parts where you just kind of freeze as you're loading, or like the FPS isn't gonna be as good as it should be, and the graphics overall, you know, it's no Albion Online, but it still has its own RuneScape charm. I could definitely say the customization has improved because of RuneScape 3, so they did bring that in. There's better customization, better colors, better, like, cooler looking armors, and you do have a lot of content. Of course, though, we are going to have playable content unique to Darkscape. So let me just reiterate that, okay? Darkscape is its own game. It's not just a rewritten RuneScape. It's going to evolve into its own game. So with that being said, you cannot carry over your RuneScape character. You have to make a new character on Darkscape. Get it? That's how it works? Okay. So, there's a lot of complexities with RuneScape, with the end game, with the economy. I have no idea how it's going to work. Apparently, there's like 3 different economies because it's based on territories, which is pretty good. I think a lot of people wanted that. People wanted the Grand Exchange, but they hated how it was universal, so they did put it for each individual territory. I can't explain really how well that is incorporated because I haven't gotten there yet, but I know that there's a lot of really touchy subjects for nostalgic players and new players, and honestly, you're going to have to go into the game and find out for yourself, because this game's not, you know, hardcore sandbox games aren't really indicative of first impressions, but I can say as a nostalgic player, as somebody who has played RuneScape, as somebody who's interested in playing it again, I think Darkscape is the perfect answer. Okay, RuneScape 3, I started to get interested, but then I saw it in, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, okay. So RuneScape 3 was, that was kind of like Careberry, but this, Darkscape, that's the direction I want to see RuneScape going in, and I'm going to be playing it. So hopefully I'll see you on there, but that's probably my biased opinion. Thanks for watching. Please come back and like, subscribe so you can stay notified of all these new updates of MMOs and indie games. Now, lastly, Darkscape did just launch. Like yesterday, it launched yesterday. So you need to get into this game right now. This game came out of nowhere, and I'm really glad that it did. Hopefully you are too. Be excited for the next video, and we'll be excited to see you there. Welcome back, Attack. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 free-to-play MMOs for this year, for 2015, and I think across all the genres for free-to-plays, we've seen so much innovation in MOBAs, in MMOs, in like card games. We've seen so many new things this past year, and hopefully, maybe, probably so, 2015 is going to be just as exciting. This is our